Vincent Cochetel, the UNHCR Special Envoy for Central Mediterranean. Thank you so much for your time. Just tell us a little bit more about what the report uncovered.
Thank you very much. Well, previous report looked very much at the situation in Libya on sea crossing. We wanted to look more a bit at the routes people are taking both on the Western Mediterranean shores, but also on the Eastern African route. And we uncovered that actually most of the abuse are committed by law enforcement agents, not just by smugglers and traffickers. So when states say we can't do anything, actually they can do something. Those acts and those abuse include serious violence against people, including sexual gender-based violence, extortion, beating, arbitrary detention, ransom, and so on.
So why is the world continuing to ignore this situation?
Well, I think report after report, we are facing a new level of indifference, a new level of tolerance for something that should not be tolerated. Because there is that sort of feeling that the people who are moving are guilty, are responsible of their own fate. That they lack of the data tells somebody they stay in the first country. They stay in the first country. They don't move through lots of borders. Many states feel they are powerless to try to prevent those movements when actually they can do much more.
Concretely, what can be done against human traffickers, since they seem to operate with complete impunity?
Well, today, as we speak, I mean, migrants and refugees on those routes have more chance to end up in detention than traffickers. I think states need to take the same sort of action they have taken to fight terrorism, drug trafficking, weapons trafficking. They need to look at the money flows. They need to cooperate. I think European countries need to trust a bit more their African partners, and hold governments accountable to effective prosecution of traffickers. It's abnormal that many known traffickers that have been listed by states, by the UN Sanction Committee for Mali, Sudan, Libya, have not yet been arrested.
Is Europe effectively outsourcing, if you like, handling of migration to Libyan militias?
Well, I don't think there is outsourcing of migration management to the Libyan militia, but it's clear that the Libyan militias have access to detention centers in Libya and are involved in the trafficking of human beings, but nobody is really assisting them for them. That's part of their business.
How is COVID-19 making the situation worse?
COVID-19 had a severe impact on the people's livelihood. Many have lost their job. They were evicted from where they were accommodated. So mobility, even irregular movement, might be a survival strategy for some individuals or some communities. And traffickers are trying to make attractive offer, cheaper offer, using more dangerous routes to try to lure people to the Mediterranean Sea, either the Western Mediterranean or the Central Mediterranean Sea. But sometimes they don't have the means to carry people. They just lie and sell their debt.
Finally, are international aid agencies such as the UN basically propping up that system, by collaborating with all these armed groups on the end? For instance, the UN and other groups such as the IOM provide emergency assistance to migrants brought back forcibly to shore in Libya, who are then taken off to militia-run detention centres.
Yes, well, we are humanitarian agencies, so our responsibility is to provide humanitarian assistance in a non-political and non-discriminatory manner. Those people suffer and they need basic assistance. But we have been calling for the end of arbitrary detention in Libya, on the dismantlement of that business of putting people in prison, reselling them, exploiting them. So we hope at some stage that will be heard and that there'll be no one detained in Libya. Those people have not committed a crime, and there is another way to deal with people when they move irregularly in the country than just putting them in prison indefinitely.
Vincent Cochetel, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much.